Stand up. No, no, not literally, but pause and think. Stand up. Two simple words that mean so much. Fuck that up. Never mind. Reset that. Fuck. Stand up. No, no, not literally, but pause and think. Stand up. Two simple words that causes a response to be formed. Instinctually, many of you wanted to physically get up simply at hearing the spoken command. Others wanted to shrink down in their seats, not wanting to be seen, heard, or called upon. Two simple words that mean so much depending on the context. A command, a response of fear, but also a call to action. When we hear the word stand up, two responses are immediately formed. But what about the third? We often hear teachers, parents, friends, family say that we need to stand up. What does this mean though? Well, we can stand up in a variety of ways for other people, for the injustices of the world, and for ourselves. Now, some of you may be thinking, yeah, I can stand up for others. I can also stand up for the unfair situations. But for myself, of course, there are people, many people in our lives that have stood up for themselves over and over again. But what if you can't? What if you have never felt safe enough to stand up? The world affects us in a variety of ways through our home environments, our country, our culture, beliefs, friendships, relationships, and so much more. Learning this valuable skill of vouching for yourself helps us in our needs, with our wants, and in our situations. But what if you are someone who's in crisis and depending on the situation, you cannot stand up to face the dangers in front of you? What if you are someone who fears this idea of speaking up because of the potential reactions that could come? The art of standing up has been lost so many times over the years by so many people. There are just not enough safe environments where one can practice and develop this skill easily. What do we do when we cannot stand up? As someone who doesn't always have this skill when it's needed, this has been the question I've been internalizing over and over for the past few years. From having a home environment where speaking up isn't necessarily an option, to having been through many, many situations where your expectations are completely ignored, the idea of standing up becomes a fear within you. I love my family dearly, as we all do. But there have just been so many moments throughout my life where only certain voices can be heard or expressed, and that was that. Instead of standing up against the judgments or opinions of my family, I would take my siblings away. I would remove them from the situation so they would never hear it or experience it for themselves. Yet, it often led for me to internalize it and feel it all by myself. In the United Kingdom, I was offered this amazing start to a teaching career. 2 full years teaching English full time in London, England. Amazing. 2 years. London? Sign me up. However, in reality, I only ended up teaching English full time for 2 whole weeks out of that whole time. My role constantly changed depending on the school's needs and what my agency agreed to. In those moments, I didn't know what to do, and I felt that I could not stand up. Now, what am I doing to learn how to stand up? And how can we learn to stand up? There are a couple things that I am trying to do personally to help me understand things better and to try something new. I am learning to meet new people and to learn about their lives and how they would interpret situations I've been in. We need role models in our lives to show us and to understand where we came from so that we can encourage others to try something new, like joining Toastmasters. We also need to learn how to be open and vulnerable with our weaknesses. A very hard ask for most of us. I know, I'm with you. I feel the same way. But once you begin this process of opening up, you learn so much about yourself, and it becomes a validating experience for you and the other person. Now, of course, these situations and solutions will not help those of us in harder situations or in crisis. However, change begins with us. Not only do we need to learn how to literally stand up, but we also need to learn how to stand up for ourselves in order to see the world change before you, for others, and for ourselves. Mahatma Gandhi has said, you need to be the change you wish to see in the world. And that begins with you and learning how to stand up. Thank you. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.